The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. Psalms 23, 1 through 3a. Before COVID, I had no idea that the human brain had the capacity to keep track of so many things to be outraged over, anxious about, and fearful of, while at the same time not being able to discern what life would look like just a few months down the line. And because of quarantine, for the first time in a long time, people all of a sudden have way too much time on their hands to just sit around and consume 24/7 news feeds and social media feeds. This past Tuesday, I went to my monthly YFC staff meeting, and because of all the health precautions, we had to hold ours outside, and we did so at the Granite Bay Teen Center campus that we have. And before the meeting started, the executive director, Dan, led us in a devotion in which he read from Psalms 139 and then told us to just take 10 minutes to pick a spot on the campus and just have some alone time with you and God. Well, a phrase from that psalm stood out to me, and it was verse 2 when David writes that God perceives our thoughts from afar. And that immediately got me thinking about Psalms 23. And I just could not get the first three verses of that psalm out of my head. And as soon as Dan released those, I found a nice shady spot in the grass and I just laid down in it and looked up at the big blue sky. And I just emptied my mind of all the toxicity that had been swirling around in my head like a hurricane for the past 6 months. God was telling me that I needed to take some time to rest. Physically, I have gotten more rest in the past 6 months than I have in the past 6 years. I don't know if you can relate, but while my body has been idle, my mind has been in overdrive. After my meeting, I went and I met with my sister and her kids, and we spent some time out on the lake, and it was just such a blast. I left my phone in the car, and while I was splashing out in the water with my nieces and nephews, not once did I think of all of the frustrations that have been plaguing my dome as of late. There was even a moment where I took the paddleboard out farther than I thought I could on my first time riding a paddleboard. And I had this moment where the wind was at my back, the sunshine was hitting my chest, and the water was gently lapping at my feet. And I can see nothing but water and some very faint strips of land out on the horizon. And man, that just felt so amazing. It felt like I released a 10-ton load of poisonous thoughts and emotions that I had been allowing to take residence in my soul. Well, today my body bears the marks of my hard playing. My muscles are sore. I'm nursing a really bad ankle sprain from when I fell off the paddleboard in knee-high water. And remember when I talked about how awesome that sun felt hitting my chest? Well, the ensuing sunburn doesn't feel quite so great today. But you know what? My soul feels refreshed. I feel like my spirit drank a nice, tall, cold glass of water. And looking back on the past half year or so, I realized that even with all of the uncertainty and all of the turmoil and all of the economic hardships our country is facing, I never really missed anything I needed. I never had to skip a meal. I never went hungry. And I have my health, which for many in this season of life can't say the same. And I'm so incredibly fortunate and blessed to be able to say that, but heartbroken for all of those who have it a lot worse than I do. Well, my challenge for you this week is to find some time to break away from the constant stream of information that is competing for our attention and our passions. Take some time to be with God and your family. Turn off the phone, turn off your TV. If you can, spend some time outside. Maybe go on a walk or a bike ride, or if you can't do that, just sit out on your patio with some coffee and your Bible. As Christ leads you through your week, look for those proverbial green pastures where you can allow your soul to rest and be restored. Thank you so much for clicking on today's devotion. God bless.